Thank you. My name is Emil Palikot. Many thanks for staying until the end, and big thanks for the organizers for first putting together this great program and then including me in it. And putting me in the end. Yeah. So this is Smiles in Profiles, joint work with Susan Afey, Dean Carlan, and Yuan Yuan. So we started the day with Dean, and we are ending the day with Dean, even though he's not here anymore. All right. Personal information, and particularly personal images present on online platforms, create an efficiency fairness trade-off. On the one hand, personal images create a sense of trust that can facilitate transactions and also allow users to differentiate. So there is an efficiency argument for giving high prominence to personal information on online platforms. On the other hand, there is a growing body of literature showing that this information about these images inform users about race, ethnicity, or gender of market participants, which can lead to discrimination, and in many contexts lead to discrimination. And in fact, we have evidence from hospitality, ride-sharing, lending platforms, or microfinance platforms as well. So this efficiency fairness trade-off kind of works in a way that when you increase the prominence of this personal information, you can kind of grow the size of the market, but there will be also redistribution of the funds to whom they go. But this redistribution might not only be across the social demographic characteristics, because images are not only about social demographic characteristics. So in this project, we want to propose a distinction between an image content that is inherent or intrinsic to the person in the image, and we're going to call it type. So think about social demographic characteristics. And we want to distinguish this from what is changeable about the image. And there is a lot here. We can think about facial expressions, objects in the image, type of apparel, general image composition, technical aspects of the image. And in fact, sellers on online platforms will curate their images with the objective of attracting the other side of the market. So a lot of these manipulable, changeable characteristics will impact demand. So we're going to call it style. And we want to ask three questions. First, do users from different social demographic groups systematically create different images? That is, whether there are systematic differences in style across types. Second, does it matter? Do those differences in style contribute to disparities between groups? Do they mitigate them, or maybe they don't have any impact? And then finally, given that these changeable things are changeable, we can imagine platform policies that are targeting the distribution of these features in a way that can relax the tension between efficiency and fairness. And we want to look into this in a context of Kiva. So in this audience, I think Kiva doesn't need much introduction, so I'm just going to be very brief here. So Kiva is a microfinance peer-to-peer platform which connects borrowers mostly from developing countries, but not only. Here there's a photo of a borrower from the US. These borrowers are generally micro-entrepreneurs who are trying to raise small sums in order to advance their businesses. On the other side of the market, there are lenders who generally come from developed countries, mostly from the US. So an important feature of Kiva are the images. So images are really front and center of the way this marketplace is designed. In fact, the first contact of a lender with a borrower will be something like that, will be the borrower photo. And you can click to learn more, and you will see even more images. So they really play a prominent role. So first thing that we do in this paper is observational or correlational study. We have 420,000 historical campaigns on Kiva. We observe outcomes, that is daily funding rates, how much money has that campaign raised in a given day, and whether or not the loan has been repaid. Then we observe characteristics. So there will be loan details, time, location, sector, competition. So we will observe the entire market. So all the borrowers available on a given day in a given location. And then, of course, we have the images. So on the images, we deploy a kind of pre-trained feature detection algorithm, which extracts image features which we will then divide into which features that are related, which we're gonna call style, and features which will be type. So then again, style are those facial expressions, objects, apparel, image composition. The first thing that we show is that kind of jointly, the style features are predictive of lending outcomes. So a model trained on style features can predict how much money that borrower will raise. However, style features are not predictive of repayment probability. So we will say that the style features create an unfair disparity between borrowers, because this disparity is not justifiable by the underlying risk. So when I'm going to be talking about style features creating or exacerbating disparities between groups, and that is unfair, I'm going to rely on this logic. Second, style and type are highly correlated. Here I am showing you a correlogram of selected style features and selected type features. So in a sense, this is obvious. I'm trying to show you that young borrowers are creating different images than old borrowers. So this is true, but those gaps can be really large. So here I highlighted smiling across genders. So on Kiva, female borrowers are more than twice as likely to smile than male borrowers. And this actually matters. So we, using Gelbach decomposition, we show that a third of the gender gap can be explained by the style choices of borrowers. In fact, what we show in the paper is that the distribution of style across socio-demographic groups generally exacerbates disparities between groups. That is, borrowers from socio-demographic characteristics, from socio-demographic groups that are underperforming to begin with are performing worse because of the style choices they make. But this is observational study. So even though I have deployed state-of-the-art feature detection algorithm that has done something like this on the image, except there's like 300 features that I have detected, there is no way, and then I flexibly adjusted for those features. There is not really a way of knowing that I have accounted for all the meaningful differences between images. There could be some aspects of images that a feature detection algorithm will just simply not capture. So to make progress in that direction, we have created a recruited experiment in which we use generative adversarial networks. This is technology that underpins kind of apps that can make you look like a famous person or change your age. But we have prepared a software that works in a very specific way. So this software will generate images that are identical except for one specific feature. So here I am showing you two variants of two images. There is a smiling variant and there is a non-smiling variant. And then other than that, the images are the same. So here the idea is that in the experiment, subjects will be randomly assigned either to a smiling variant of an image or a non-smiling variant of an image. And in this way, we can estimate the impact of smiling on choices. So this is a recruited experiment. So this will be recruited subjects who used Kiva in the past, but these are not necessarily the current Kiva population. Therefore, the experiment will have the internal validity, and that will kind of corroborate the findings we have from the observational data. But these are not externally valid when externally means on Kiva. So here I'm showing you the estimates for three selected features: body shot, gender, and smile. And the blue ones are from the RCT, and the red ones are AIPW, so the observational data. So first, what we actually see is that our observational data and experimental results are going in the same directions for these features and for other features as well, and they generally map out pretty well. So the conclusion from this is that there are style features that impact outcomes, and those style features are differentially distributed across groups. So as I alluded to earlier, the silver lining of this disparities created by style features is that style features are changeable. So we could imagine platform policies that either issue guidance or nudge borrowers in a way to create different images. So we want to consider what type of platform policies could relax this tension between efficiency and fairness. So for this purpose, we created a simple structural model, which we calibrated with the estimates from an RCT. So in this model, there will be borrowers and there will be lenders. Borrowers will be kind of differentiated across three characteristics. They will differ by gender, and they will differ whether in style characteristics, that is, whether they smile and whether they have a body shot image or not. And lenders will arrive to this platform, to this market, will observe the available borrowers, or will observe the borrowers that Kiva is showing them and decide whether they want to transact with one of them or whether they prefer to not transact, choose the outside option. And the number of lenders that choose one of the borrowers will be our measure of market efficiency. That is, the more attractive the borrowers are in the market, the higher the efficiency will be. And this will also give us fairness. So we will observe the distribution of funds allocated across available borrowers, and this distribution will give us a measure of fairness. All right, so in terms of policies, first, we consider a policy which might be the most obvious policy that the platform will implement. So suppose that managers have learned that lenders like smiling borrowers. So the natural consequence could be, or let's say a naive reaction would be to rank borrowers with smiling images at the top. So, or maybe show them more frequently. So increasing the prominence of borrowers with attractive style might be good for efficiency because now it's easier to discover this type of borrowers. But because of this correlation between styles and types, that might have a negative impact on fairness. So specifically, this borrowers now have like a triple effect. They come from social demographic groups which are associated with low outcomes. Then they self-selected to create unattractive campaigns, and then the platform is punishing them for not recommending them frequently. On the other hand, we could imagine a platform policy which kind of explicitly promotes fairness. So suppose a platform wants to show frequently borrowers from underperforming groups. So this might increase fairness because now it's easier to find them, but on the other hand, this might hurt efficiency because promoting underperforming campaigns here means promoting campaigns that have those undesirable style characteristics. So generally, the ranking policies will trade efficiency versus fairness. On the other hand, we show that targeted interventions, such as guidelines on how what is a good image, or maybe nudging campaigns that make borrowers that nudge borrowers into maybe smiling more, or solutions such as upload several images and the platform selecting one, can increase both efficiency and fairness. So on the fairness dimension, this type of policies can create a more equal distribution of style features, and on the efficiency side, this type of policies can just increase the share of borrowers that have attractive campaigns. So to conclude, personal images create this efficiency fairness trade-off. On the one hand, personal information can help increase market efficiency, but it can also redistribute funds away from away from certain groups. We show here that in the context of Kiva, this tension is further exacerbated by the style choices that borrowers make. As borrowers from underperforming groups systematically create unattractive campaigns, which makes them perform even worse. However, we show that this style features can be also a way to relax this tension by guiding borrowers from underperforming groups to create more attractive campaigns, and in this way make the outcomes more balanced. Finally, I think sometimes it might be difficult or complicated to run live experiments on online platforms that explicitly target distribution of outcomes across social demographic groups. And this framework that we have developed here, which is this mix of correlational study with the recruited experiments, can be a way to select and then prioritize certain policies that can increase efficiency as well as fairness, and in this way help us achieve kind of better outcomes on the online marketplaces. All right, thank you.